Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Canada to Berlin. Now, I'm currently working on the final episode, but I wanted that one to be a little more special. So today, I thought I would throw in a little bonus episode that would give you some tips, some do's and don'ts, if you will, if you are also on a journey to move abroad or thinking about moving abroad. So I'm going to quickly get ready, head out and grab a coffee, and then we will dive into that. Now, one of my first tips is to get yourself set up with health insurance. It's one of the first things you have to do because over here in Germany, it's required by law. Now, I talked a little bit about this in my previous video, but if you follow the links suggested in that, you can get set up super quick and super easy. Now, the second thing I would suggest as a tip is to make an appointment to get your Wohnungsanmeldung, which is essentially an appointment to get your registration for your residence. You kind of have to do this to do a lot of different things here because it always requires an address. And that's one of the things that you will need if you want to apply for a permanent residence. Now, the appointments are kind of challenging to get, so you probably want to do that right away because I had to wait about a month for mine to get done. Now, this next thing is less of a tip and more of a necessity, and that is to decide which bank you want to sign up with, because obviously you're going to need some spending money over here and getting your funds here. So the option that I went with is called N26. They're quite popular. They're Berlin-based, but there's also the Tomorrow Bank and the Vivid Bank, I believe. So I can put some of those links down in below. The process is pretty straightforward. I think you might be able to set that up beforehand, but I did it when I got here and they have to do this little video conferencing ID verification. But once you have that set up, they'll send you a card or they'll give you a virtual card and then you'll get your IBAN number, which is going to be super important because you're going to need that to sign up for a cell phone plan, which is probably another essential that you'll need here. All right, so my next tip and my first don't, which is a pretty important one, is don't get rid of your current phone number until you have your new cell phone number, and then you log into all your important sites, such as your bank accounts, mainly any government sites that you need to get access to, Facebook, Google, all those things, because what happens is when you land in this new country, it's going to notice that you're somewhere else and it's going to ask you for that two-factor authentication, especially if you're using that. And then it's going to try to send you an SMS to your old number. And so if you cancel it beforehand, you're going to have a really hard time logging into those. For example, Katrina already had a German phone number because she had both Canadian number and a German telephone number. So when she knew she was leaving Canada, she canceled her Canadian number right away. So when she got here, she had a pretty difficult time logging into a lot of those sites because she didn't have her new number. So she had to go through the process of either calling them or new virtual verification. So it was much harder. But for myself, I had my old number. I logged into all the sites, changed to my new phone number, and then I was able to cancel my old cell phone number afterwards. So definitely, as a pro tip, Don't get rid of your cell phone number until you've changed it to your new cell phone number and have re-authenticated everything. Now, something super simple that can be easily forgotten is to set up a forwarding mail address. Now, we thought we had taken care of everything to the best of our ability, but things such as our damage deposit and our home insurance and car insurance, once we canceled it, there was money owed back to us. And even though we had tried to request a e-transfer and have it done electronically, their policies just stated that they needed to send a check out. So with our forwarding address, we could have a relative or a friend take care of that for us and either send it to us or take care of that electronically from their end. And yeah, there's inevitably going to be mail that is sent to you. So just make sure you have that set up so that you're not missing anything important. And yeah, so set up a forwarding mail address. So that is it for today's video. I hope some of those tips help you in your journey. If you are thinking about moving abroad or are in the process of moving abroad, those are just a few of the do's and don'ts that we came across in our journey. But there's so much more to share here. So I'm really excited to continue exploring the differences between Berlin and Germany versus Canada, and especially all the cultural and art that this city provides. So having said all that, we're gonna go grab some food right now at the Malapak and the flea market and the food that always happens every Sunday. And that is probably my number one do, is try as much different food and culture as you possibly can. And so much more to come on the channel. So subscribe and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.